Hey everyone, I'm Jack Fossett, and today we are checking out the Fender American Performer Stratocaster. Now, before you go off saying, well, how many ways can you say Stratocaster? Because, you know, there have certainly been years when things just seem like they change things for the sake of changing things. This one has some pretty cool appointments. This is a really nice guitar, and when you look at the graduation of models and things, you know, I remember a time when there was the Highway one, which was the lower end entry-level American instrument, and then you got up to the American Standard before you got up into the American Vintage reissues, and then you got up to your custom shop models. That all kind of changed. The American Standards got bumped up. They became the American Professionals. The Highway one then became the American Special, which then kind of turned into the American Performer. Simultaneously, the Made in Mexico models kind of got a little bit pricier, but the quality also got quite a bit better. And, you know, you go up from there. There's also the Deluxe Series, which, you know, the American Deluxe Series, which became the American Ultra Series. And just once, I think it would be really, really cool if they were like, you know, this is a great model. It's not quite there yet, so we're going to call this the Fender American Penultimate. I think that would be a good model. Anyway, I digress. So, this one has the Yosemite single coil pickups in it. And they sound great. They're a nice Strat pickup. They're not as bright as I would expect. They're not necessarily dark and muffled, but they sit well. They have a nice Stratty tone, and they cut enough, but they're not overly, you know, overly strident or anything, so you don't need to just kind of dash for your tone knob. And I wonder if in general that's kind of keeping the modern player in mind who might be more typical to use overdrive distortion, particularly at live settings. It's a performer, right? So this is for people who are performing. That's kind of the idea. Anyway, now it's got the cool 70s style headstock, and I've always liked the Fender 70s headstocks. You know, some people hate them. I think they're cool. This is what Hendrix had. You know, he had the 70s style headstocks and things, and I get that they are, you know, associated with a time when the guitars switched over from being more handmade to more mass-produced, and that, you know, as you got further into the CBS era and beyond, the quality went down. But I don't know, I just think the 70s headstocks. What's really interesting about this one too is it has these tuners that I had never seen before, which are like a combination of vintage and modern. They have these kind of like bean style tuning pegs, which I think look way better. I hate the big fat clunky ones. I actually change out tuners on all my guitars, not necessarily because they don't work, but just because these look so much nicer. But interestingly, there's no screws on the back like a vintage set of tuners would have. They're pressed in and then, you know, held on top by screwed in up top, and not the you know what I'm talking about. You've got the grease bucket tone circuit in there. That's something that goes back, I believe, to the Highway 1 guitars, and that is a really cool thing. What I really love about this, and this they've also done on some of the Mexican series guitars, one of the guitars that I reviewed, is there's a push-pull pot, and the push-pull pot allows you to blend the neck pickup in with any of the other pickups. Now, what's really, really cool is when you blend it with the bridge, because then you kind of get pretty close to that classic telly middle tone, which is the one thing the Stratocaster doesn't do that a Telecaster does that I just like, I wish I had that. So the Strat and a Tele, they each do something that the other one doesn't do, besides the fact that they have their own character. So get beyond that with me. Just, I'm taking you on a journey. Walk with me. So the Stratocaster with the middle pickup, not only do you get the middle pickup tone, which is surprisingly a kind of an unsung Strat, classic Strat tone on its own, but it gives you the option for the blended positions, which are, I think, ultimately what a Stratocaster is. You could argue is some of the most famous tones ever with a Stratocaster are those not out of phase, but are talked about as being out of phase, those kind of plucky tones in the 2 and the 4 position. Telecasters obviously can't do that unless you add in the middle pickup. And the Telecaster, being the 2 pickup setup, has a really special tone that happens in the middle position that a Stratocaster can't do because it has the middle pickup. So it's like you either take out the middle pickup or, you know, it seemed like there was only, you had one or the other. Well, this really gives very close enough for what I would want out of a Stratocaster, gives you something in the realm of that middle tele tone. So before we get to the pickup by pickup playing, I want to jump in and just give you a sample of what that does when you're on the bridge pickup and then you use the push pull pot to get that tone. All right, now we are going to get to pickup by pickup. It is still kind of in the spectrum and in the realm of a lot of players who are gigging musicians. So in that spirit, I wanted to use a relatively common gigging amp. So I am using my Fender Blues Junior 4 today. That's the Sweetwater Limited Edition with the Western Tolex and the Eminence C-Rex speaker. Now in the beginning, for the lead part, you were hearing a Wampler Metaverse, which is a just superb new delay pedal from Wampler. And for the overdriven tones today, I'm using one of my favorite drive pedals, which is a Vick Audio Mount Pleasant. That's Vick Audio's take on the Bluesbreaker Overdrive. So that's what you are hearing for tones today. Blues Junior for clean, and then the Mount Pleasant for overdrive, and keeping the Metaverse off now for the rest of the video. And we are going to just go pickup by pickup. I'm going to give you clean and overdriven on neck, neck, middle, middle, bridge, bridge. And hopefully it gives you a good picture of all the things that this guitar can do. Very comfortable to play. It sounds nice, the finish is good, it looks great. I love the colors that they're doing with these. This also comes in a rosewood fingerboard setup. I am anxious to try one of the Fender American Performer Telecasters after playing this one and seeing how great it is. Now when I got this, I traded for this. So this is not a sponsored review. I have worked with Fender before and I enjoy working with Fender, but this is not a sponsored review. This is ever from them. The person who owned this before me had actually done a really cool thing of adding in a humbucker. He turned it into an HSS and did it coil splitting. Now, having a coil split humbucker and then the push-pull to blend in the neck position, it was just like the perfect way to do a fat Strat. I just absolutely loved it. And I'm someone who usually doesn't like coil splitting. So luckily he included the bridge pickup and the original electronics for me to pop back in. So I actually popped all the original electronics back in just to bring you all this video. Yes, you may send your praise, and I do thank you for the applause. I deserve that. Then I am actually going to switch back to that setup with some different pickups and things, just because there's some great pickup companies I work with, and it was really cool. So that also kind of lends itself to the notion of these, that they're modifiable. You know, Fenders are great for modding. It's easy to pop some new pickups in there, get a different pick guard, get a whole different sort of thing going. All in all, though, it's a great guitar just as it is. So please let us know in the comments, do you have an American Performer? Do you have one of the other guitars kind of in this lineage? Do you have an older Highway 1? Do you have an American Special? One of these new American Performers? Let us know what you think. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stick around for a pickup by pickup comparison of this guitar, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.